Hello, bonjour. Today I'm going to give you a tour around our Gite, and I'm going to hopefully slot in some photos to show you how it looked before, and obviously while you're touring you'll see how it looks now. I was going to start from outside, but it's so cold today, it's absolutely freezing. So we'll start in here. I think I'll start from the top floor, the main bedroom, and then we'll work our way down and I'll talk you through the rooms. Okay, so come with me. Okay, here we are in the top bedroom. To the right here, you can see the window overlooks the church outside, and you can also see that we've installed railings for safety just on that window there. This room, when we first bought the house, it was just there, and a very bright cerise pink on the walls. Under that door there was a set of steps which came quite a way into the room, which was obviously what was used to get into the loft room. Here you can see it's cladded everywhere, which we have done to some of the room, but the cladding on this wall was here originally. On this side you can see a picture, and this is a picture of Honfleur. Honfleur was the first place we actually stayed in France. It's a beautiful harbour town, or port town. Quite an expensive one because it's quite touristy, but it's absolutely beautiful. So obviously we have to have a picture of that. And now this bed, Duncan had to make the bed for this room because the floor is so wonky and so sloped that any bed that sat on it wouldn't sit straight. So he had to build it to actually fit the floor, so then we got a nice level bed. So if ever we had to get a new bed, he would have to rebuild that. I think he's going to last a few years yet though. More, you're obviously going to replace mattresses, but I don't think we'll be replacing the bed anytime soon. The headboard we bought at a brocante or depot-vente. You can see we've got two little tables there that Duncan's put either side of the bed, so that people can put their whatnots, jewellery or whatever on before they go to bed. You can see the cladding, the original cladding, it's had a few different colours over the year. I think mainly white, but this year we went for like a pastel blue, and I love it. It's a really nice colour, really warm colour. And I don't know about you, but I think this room is quite French in a way, quite French country. But I think it's got a bit of a look about it that you would find this room in a house near the coast, maybe in Honfleur. It just feels like that to me. You'll see as we go around as well, we like to collect a few sort of paintings and prints. We mainly like paintings, but not everybody, we can't always afford those. But if we can find a print of something local, we will do, or a country scene. This one is, I just can't even see it. Oh, Tour. It's the Eiffel Tour, sorry. So it's from Paris. Over here, this picture, everybody asks us who it is. We have no idea who it is. It's just an old picture of a sailor that we loved, and I can tell you it's no relative of mine. Oh, hi Jan. This cupboard was just like a cubby hole really, and we decided it obviously lent itself straight away to the perfect place for a wardrobe. So Duncan has put shelves in there, and it is huge. We managed to store the travel cot, which people use if they bring a baby with them, and the bath and everything in there, and it's at the back, and nobody's bothered at all. That mirror we bought, I think we might have bought that in England before we come over. I think it was gold, and we decided to paint it white. The door is the original door that was on here, original hooks. Or original hook and original handle. The lino on the floor actually came from the next floor down when we ripped that because we wanted bare floors in the living room. The chair we bought again at a brocante or a vid grenier or something somewhere, and I just Duncan reupholstered. Now we'll venture down the stairs to the next floor. Before we actually go down the stairs, you can see we've got some pictures on the walls here. This has all been clad, and we clad that part and we've insulated where we can. One day we'll try and insulate everywhere, but at the moment, and at the time, we didn't have the time to get it insulated before guests arrived, and we needed to have guests. We put this lovely wall light on here, antique wall light, and that actually comes on with the sensor there on the left that's on the ceiling, so that it comes on, go down the stairs to the toilet in the night, and they can find their way, because at 11 o'clock here the street lights go out at 11 o'clock and it's pitch black, so inside the house is pitch black, so we had to make that safe. Right, now we'll go down. Right, here we have what you call, I suppose, the landing, and then these are the stairs I went up to the room. So you go up around the corner, and the door is immediately there. There's no landing up there; it just goes straight into the bedroom. Now here, this window is directly underneath the window in the bedroom upstairs. We installed a window seat there, and inside there we put things like beach items and things that people may not have brought with them that they want to take to our beaches. You've probably seen the videos, and I've spoken to about what we call beaches. They're in the middle of forest because we're obviously not on the coast here. This cabinet, or this shelf should I say, used to be a cabinet. We found that at a vid grenier, I think it was, and we just loved the look at it. It still had the hinges on. Can't remember if it's still got the hinges now. Yes, it has. So it's still got the hinges on it. Duncan put the little white feet you can see at the bottom. He took them off of the coffee table that you'll see in a minute, because that was a bit high, and the bookshelf was a bit low, so that worked out fine. He put them on there. In the shelf we obviously got books and some CDs. Not many people play CDs these days, but so those people that like to reminisce might want to play a CD. The mirror, we've just distressed that, made that nice. Now here is our certificate that we had to get from the Marie to be able to let as a sheet, or as a holiday let. So you have to go and report to the Marie to let them know that's what you're doing, and that's what he gives you. So it's official that he knows, and that you can carry on and let. That's the main front door. We hope one day that we might be able to replace that, but at the moment we just keep fixing it and making it draft proof. Here's a couple of lovely little paintings. I'll let you guess where we found those as well. Here we have another bookshelf that, if I remember right, Duncan did make this one, but it was a long while ago. And we try and keep a mixture of French and English books, because most of our clients are French and English. Now this structure here is our toilet. Now some of you may think, what a bizarre place to have a toilet. Well, as you'll see in the pictures, I've got my fingers crossed here, hoping that we find the pictures, because I'm hoping I haven't lost them somehow, but if not, I'll give you the picture in your head. Picture that corner where the AC unit is and a toilet just sat there on its own. That is where the toilet was, which was fine when it was just Duncan and I. And we thought, well, that's okay while we're renovating, but it can't be there all the time. When Duncan's brother-in-law was here one year, he helped him build this toilet, which is the only place we could really put it. It's quite a quirky place. It's quite the shape and the way the house is laid out didn't really lend itself to go anywhere else without making major works, knocking walls down and everything. So the way the plumbing had to go, and the simplest way to do it was to put it here. You'll see there's no cistern at the back of the toilet. That's because it's a Saniflow toilet. Those of you that have got Saniflow know what sort of toilet that is. But I had to put a sign up, and I've got it in English, Spanish, French and Dutch, or sorry, German. And I had to put on there to remember not to put anything other than toilet tissue down there because it'll jam. Now, funny little story, I decided, because we didn't before we had this sign up, it's been up there a few years now, but when I put it up, I obviously had to translate into those languages. I just put in that it will jam if you do this. Translated it, printed it off, put it in the frame and everything. And then quite recently, actually, I was looking at it and I thought, what on earth? And because jam in French is confiture, as in eating jam. Never gave it a thought when I printed it out that it had two different meanings. I need to word this differently. So, because now every time the French read it, they're wondering what on earth is going on. Why is there jam in the toilet or confiture in the toilet? So yeah, lesson learnt. That was a literal translation, and you can't always do that. This door, it was actually part of the downstairs, the floor downstairs, and I'll show you where that came from when we get down there. Now we go into the salon, or the living room, and this wall, those two, what used to be doors, Duncan was given by a client. He was about to throw them out and Duncan could see a future for them. So he renovated them, put the fabric in the back, and we managed to find those lovely lights, and they become a wall feature, and everybody seems to love them, and they just fit really nicely. But originally that wall had a gap on either side, and behind it we had rails that so if we had anybody sleep on the sofa bed, they could keep their clothes in there, use it as a wardrobe. But then we started to find that no one was actually staying and actually using the sofa bed, so we thought of a better use for it. And around the same time we got the AC unit. So what Duncan's done, again you'll see hopefully in the pictures, blocked all of that in. The pipe into the AC now goes behind that, and then it lent us the opportunity to put shelves in for the board games and the DVDs. So it's perfect. Now there, just under where those two wall features are, if you like to call them, we used to have two shelves there where the DVDs went there before. In this corner you can see that there's a basket, and that is full of folders and leaflets of things that are for activities basically that people can see when they stay at the cottage. We're not a touristy area, but there's still things to see and to do. You've got to go and find it, and that's the nice thing about it. They can just sit here, go through all the leaflets and decide what they want to do. Now here we've got two maps, very old maps, as you can tell. The one on the left, if you can just about see, is of Montreal, which is what this town was called until later years it became Montreal-Poulet, connected with the sister town just up the road. And that one is of Mayenne. You can see there, Mayenne. This was one of Duncan and I's bargain. We bought this on eBay, and believe it or not, we won, obviously, and we paid less than £3 for that. And felt terrible for the person that was selling it, because obviously he was hoping to get a bit more than that. We did. I think we may have given him a bit more because we felt a little bit guilty. But he said that is the chance you take when you put things up for auction, which is true. We always have a basket of wood here, so that if they want to try the fire, whatever time of year it is, we do have people that come in the summer and they just like to light it because they've never had a log fire before and they want to light it. But we only supply the one basket because it obviously gets expensive. But if they want to use it all their time they're here, you can buy little bags of wood in the local shops. There's a fire guard behind there, should it be needed if there's children staying. Here we have the fireplace. This fireplace was, as again you'll see in small pictures, that it was just grey. Several different things in the fireplace. We had just an open grate with a companion set for looks at one point, and then we had, once we were here more often in the winter, we bought a big cast iron fire that it worked, but it wasn't particularly good. But that was it. We had that for a long time. It still worked. And then a friend of ours, his brother, was moving house, and he had this in his barn. Hadn't used it because the lid was cracked, and then repaired it. But these, when you buy them, are anything up to about €1,000, and we only paid €80. Bargain, and you can't even see the repair. And it's such a good fire. Guests love it. It keeps so warm. Very efficient for the room. This is a little drinks trolley, you'd call it. That came from some friends of ours who, when they bought their house, everything was left in it. Absolutely everything, down to crockery and everything. But they didn't want this. Understandably, really, who uses drinks trolleys that much these days unless you're in a chateau? So, but again, we saw a future for it, and it's our entertainment centre. It's on the floor is our DVD player. Then you've got a little hi-fi you can just see there. Then we've got the Sky box and the TV box, and obviously the TV. I'm hoping to replace the TV with a bigger one. I've had that one for a while, but obviously the space we've got, we can't have a very big one, and it's so hard now to buy a smaller TV. Everybody wants you to buy the huge things. Another small gallery. The daffodil is my painting. The top one is a draw, like a sketch or ink drawing of Laissez le Chateau that we bought. That's another little. I'm not even sure where that is, to be honest. It's just a picture that Duncan liked. Another, you see, we've got a bit of a theme here. We quite often like things with boats. And then the one with the cats, that's another one of mine. You can see there, over across the square, which you've seen many times. And then again, we've got another window seat. In there, we've got children's toys, sort of for age 5 and under. Because obviously, I think anything above that, most of the time they want to play on the PlayStation or an Xbox or something, or even games now on their phone, don't they? So never really had the need for anything for older children. Here we have a basket of books, again for younger children. Now you can see our sewing machine. It could, if we wanted to, it would work. As you know, the old machines like that are just indestructible, aren't they? And we could probably get it going, but we just love it as an ornament. Our caretaker in the village was saying he had one in his barn, and he sold it to us because he didn't want it, and we were really pleased with it. So we just tidied it up. It looks perfect. It's an old Singer one, that one. I always have a basket with quiz and puzzle books. There we've got another map. These are different maps again of the area of this town. On this one, this is Montrepoulet, obviously, as I just said. Here, that's our house. You can see the church there. Here are obviously our neighbours that we get on with, and we get on with the neighbours down here as really well as well, and a few others scattered around. Our garden is there, that parcel of land there. But originally, It was that piece of land. Now, can you imagine if we're wanting to use our garden, we'd have to take a wheelbarrow to take our picnic and everything over to our garden. And that's how it works in France. Sometimes your garden is not near you, or it's just been bought as a parcel of land because they see it as a value, which really, if it's agricultural land, it's not really worth an awful lot. If it's building land, maybe. So what happened is the garden that's next to it is attached, rarely, attached to a house where a man lived that was in the military, lived there with his family, and he wanted to put a fence around his garden and decided to ask us if we would sell it to him so that he could extend his garden and fence it in for when he was away. So we did. We weren't going to be able to use it, so that was that. The main beam here, that was clad and covered, same as the ceiling, and we for years kept saying, wouldn't it be nice if we just uncovered that? So we did, and we painted it, and it's the best thing we ever did. There's such a lovely feature in this room. Our sofas came from the UK. We had them in our flat, and they are still going. They've really served us well here. The coffee table that I was just talking about, we needed something. There was quite a big gap in between the sofas, really, so we needed something quite big, and that worked perfect. It's a nice old pine. It's got some age to it where it's been used and things, and that's what we like. It's me in the mirror again. We've got electric heater in here as well. That little scene I bought for Duncan one year because it reminded me of when we're in our garden. Or sorry, if we're not in our garden, if we're down the hill and we're looking back towards our garden, you can just about see the church, and that reminded me of that view. I'm going to turn the lights off as I go because I'm going to be having a chat with you soon downstairs. I've had so many different rugs on this floor as well, and this is the biggest one we've managed to get, and it's so much more of a luxury to have that there than some we've had. Okay, now we're going to make our way down the next flight of stairs, but before I go, I'm going to just tell you these stairs were here when we bought the house. As far as we know, they've been here for a very long time. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. And when we bought the house had been empty for 30 plus years. And we've had it for 15, 16 years. It's still going, so I don't know how long it was in before he lived here. A couple of things I forgot to tell you. Going back to the fireplace, where the fire is, it used to be, again you'll see in the picture, there used to be a diesel cooker. We've actually come to the conclusion that the man that lived here must have literally just lived on this floor, because had the toilet over there, a cooker there, downstairs, I'll tell you in a minute what was there, but he lived so minimal, it was incredible. I don't think there's anything more for it to tell you on this floor. So let's go down here. This is the window that overlooks the street again. We just put some jugs on there for decoration. I think people do use them though for water. Now here, just a small set of picture frames. In the top, it was our cat that we unfortunately lost a few years ago on the main road. Some flowers. And the bottom one, that's me and two of my daughters when they came to visit, and we went on Loup de Gast Velo rail. That's something we picked up in a creperie in Mayenne. It used to have hay behind the gate, but I'm sure you can imagine the dust and the cobwebs that kept collecting on there, and it wasn't easy to clean, so we took the hay away, but I love it as it is. These two paintings are two of mine. I mean, I did originally do them and decide I would do them for people to buy as a souvenir of their stay, but that's sort of not happened. Okay, from this side, we've just got a little bit of storage under the stairs. Obviously we just supply ironing board, iron, hoover, the usual things. On that shelf we just got some cafe tea and chicory pots for decoration. This room has been decorated a few different times. Again, you're going to see in the pictures I put on how wonderful it looked when we bought it. The walls were covered in an orange and brown wallpaper which had sort of coffee pots and things on it. And I always regret not keeping a piece of it and framing it but I suppose I've got the photos. This we decorated last year or the year before, and we've added more insulation as I was saying, and we put the cladding around the bottom, and we put insulation in, which has made a big difference. Now we've got electric heater, which we didn't have before. Fridge, washing machine, microwave. These windows, again, you'll see in the picture, look very different. Very different. They were so old, they were letting in dirt, rain and everything. We've got a bulb that's gone there, we need to replace. But this is a nice splashback. This is the best our kitchen has looked. I'm really pleased with it. Duncan installed the extractor fan, or he'd call it the Hotte. We supply tea, coffees and sugar. And you learn after a while that the expectation from the French is that they want the basics, basically salt, pepper, oil, things like that. But we generally didn't used to supply things like salt and that, because if the house was empty, it would sit there and it would just soak up any damp that might be in the house. So it was a nightmare. But we do this now. When Loup sold the apartment, or the flat as it would be called in the UK, we bought lots of things with us because obviously we had double of everything, so it worked out well. We keep crockery in that cupboard, and that's just your usual under sink cupboard with usual things in it. This is a gas cooker, a basic gas cooker. We've had this again for years. I love the fact that it's got a lid, and my stove next door has got a lid. If you're in a panic and you can't clean the stove, you can just cover it up. And that's where the gas bottle lives. This is a baguette breadboard. Now you'd be surprised the amount of guests we have who don't realise what it is, and we've got lots of little chopping boards and they'll line them all up, put a baguette across it to cut it, which is obviously bizarre, but once they find that that's what it is, they end up feeling a bit silly. Couple of nice drawings, I think we've got them in the UK. This table's a recent addition. And we've got, Duncan made that light fitting. The table we got from the UK. Duncan's brother-in-law saw it outside a house with a note saying "take me," so he did. And again, that fits in really well here, and we bought the chairs at a local supermarket. There's a very common type of chair, and you can buy them anywhere here. Now we're going to make our way. First of all, we've got this cupboard here, which is quite big, and it takes quite a lot of things. So you've got enough food in there for your holiday, basically. And we've obviously got things, extra things for people to use. Here is the shower room. This is original. We have not replaced this, but it's such an effective shower. It may be basic, and because we've got such good water pressure, you don't need you can't really have an electric power shower here because it would be far too powerful. It would force the shower off the wall. So yeah, there's no need. You just have a normal shower head and it works perfectly well. And that back window, that's where we keep the extractor fan so that obviously it doesn't get steamed up. Someone gave us that, I think, that towel rail. Obviously nice, just a nice little area. It's darker than we'd like, but there's not an awful lot we can do about that. I can't really put a lot of lighting in there. It's without, again, major works. More paintings. These are scenes of Paris that we've picked up somewhere. Again, I think that we bought those actually in the UK. More cladding on the wall. This is an old French bed. Again, found at Cedepavon or Vigrenier or somewhere like that, and we made good and painted it. Another very comfortable mattress. The one in the upstairs bedroom is comfortable as well. The beds aren't made up for guests at the moment because we haven't got guests coming, so I've just made them tidy just for me filming. That cupboard has always been here. We've not really know why it's there. And it's hard with the bed there to store much in it, but we do keep odds and ends in it. A couple of drawings, one on the left. Someone I used to know drew that one. Then a painting of a lady and her cats. Always amused me, I like that one. Now we have what we call the back door. That was a very old door there once before, so in the last couple of years we replaced that blind, which we installed because we do sometimes have workmen stay. So it's my bottle of water. Thirsty work this vlogging. Obviously if they worked quite late, they would want to lay in late. And because of all the windows, it would get too light. So we put a blackout blind on the door, and this opening here has got blackout curtains hanging on it, so it blocks the light from that way as well. And as I was saying, upstairs where the toilet door, that used to be there on this side. And next to it was a wall, so we've opened it up to make this room feel much bigger. IKEA shelves, which again lend themselves just to store the towels and for people to put their clothes in. A lot of our guests, if we actually come in, we find that they're living out of their suitcase. They don't tend to hang their clothes up, to be perfectly honest. And we put hooks up there, a few hangers should they want to do that, to hang them there. So there we go. I've shown you the whole house, and it's not really anything more to show you, but hopefully the photos will show what we've done, and you'll see why we're proud of the work we've done, hopefully. And what I'm going to do next is record a video to talk to you about letting, how we let our Gite. I've had a few people ask us this question, and I thought while I'm here, it's a good opportunity for me to talk about what we do, basically, all that sort of thing, everything around letting the Gite. So I hope you enjoyed that, and hopefully the pictures will be on here. And I will see you in that next video. Bye.